Nobody expected Ferrari to start the 2025 season like this. Just 3 races in, and already, there's talk about whether they've missed the mark with the SF25. Now, heading into the Bahrain Grand Prix, the team is rolling out a brand new floor. And it's not just another update. It could be a turning point, or the moment they admit things went wrong. With only 35 points collected across 3 races and a sprint, questions are beginning to grow louder. This wasn't what Maranello had in mind when they put this car together, but they aren't giving up. Bahrain offers them a chance to recover some ground, especially on a track that presents a completely different challenge compared to the conditions they saw during testing earlier this year. With higher track temperatures and demanding tire wear, it's going to push every team, but especially Ferrari, to their limits. The main objective? To make the car easier to manage and expand its performance range using this new floor design. Initially, this upgrade was scheduled for Suzuka, but the situation inside the team seems urgent enough to bring it forward to Bahrain. Still, not everyone agrees. There's tension between different departments. On one side, you've got Vasseur and Sainz pushing for caution, and on the other, the Aero team eager to move ahead. Ferrari knows time isn't on their side, and hesitation could cost them even more. Ver has been vocal about not rushing into changes. He's worried that without fully understanding the car's issues, this new floor could end up creating more problems than it solves. When talking about their poor start to the season, Ver pointed out one of the core limitations: ride height. Every team wants to run their car lower to increase grip, but go too low, and the car starts scraping the track. And with today's rules, there's very little room to play around. The key is finding just enough clearance without giving up performance. This problem with ride height isn't new. It's been affecting teams since these ground effect cars came back, and Ferrari is no exception. Ver mentioned that managing this balance has been a struggle, not just now, but over the last couple of seasons. And despite all the data they gathered, in Suzuka, there's still a sense that Ferrari hasn't fully figured out their own machine. The SF25's behavior around the 5.8-kilometer Suzuka track gave them valuable feedback, exposing both its strengths and weaknesses. What's worrying, though, is that the engineers still seem puzzled by how the car reacts under different conditions. That lack of understanding is what's holding them back. The systems on these modern cars are incredibly sensitive. One small change in ride height or aero balance can completely shift how the car behaves on track. And sadly for Ferrari, that complexity is proving to be more of a problem than a benefit right now. At the moment, 2 areas are clearly dragging the SF25 down: balance and raw pace. The car feels unpredictable, which makes it tough for the drivers to dial in a setup they can trust. There's understeer going into corners and a lack of rear grip coming out, which puts extra pressure on both drivers to make up for those shortcomings. The hope is that this new floor can at least provide more consistency. But let's be clear, no one at Ferrari believes this floor upgrade will fix everything overnight. It's more about giving them a wider window to work with. If they can keep the car lower without increasing drag, they might finally have a solid foundation to build on. Still, Ver has raised concerns. He's worried that the team might fall into the same cycle they've been stuck in for years, chasing solutions before properly identifying the root problems. This is exactly why the timing of this upgrade has been such a hot topic inside the camp. Ver isn't alone in his cautious approach. Sarah, one of the key figures in the aero department, is also questioning whether Bahrain is the right place to test such a major change. The internal discussion seems to revolve around one thing: understanding the car properly before throwing in new parts. If they rush this and it doesn't work, they'll lose more than just points. They'll lose direction. And yet, the clock is ticking. The next major opportunity after Bahrain is Miami, 2 races away. Waiting that long might cost them valuable time in the standings. The pressure is real. Expectations were sky high before the season began. And now, Watching Ferrari struggle this much is causing frustration not just inside the team, but also among fans. All of this is happening while Hamilton has raised a few eyebrows with his recent remarks. He's hinted that both cars aren't performing equally. That opens up another conversation. Are both drivers really getting the same tools to compete? Lewis Hamilton recently shared his thoughts on the challenges he's facing with his car, subtly hinting at issues with its performance. The seven-time world champion expressed concerns over an underperforming part of his car, suggesting that other cars on the grid aren't facing similar issues. This raises an important question. Could we witness an internal team conflict sooner than expected? More importantly, what does this mean for Hamilton's future with the team? The first three races of the season have highlighted some worrying signs for Hamilton. While the disqualification from the China Grand Prix wasn't directly related to his performance, the fact that he only has 15 points so far is concerning. However, Hamilton was quick to point out that he and his team have identified an issue with his car, which seems to be limiting its potential. This leads to the assumption that the problem lies with the car itself, rather than Hamilton's ability to adapt to it. In an effort to address the problem, Hamilton expressed hope that the issue would be resolved ahead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. He mentioned, "I'm really hoping in the next race we will hopefully see some positive changes. Through the first three races there's been a bit of deficit between both sides of the garage. On my side, some things are underperforming. It's good to know that with what I had, this is the best result I could get." It's interesting that Hamilton hasn't gone into further detail about what specific part of the car is underperforming. He's been pushing for a revised floor upgrade for Bahrain, despite some opposition from the team regarding the timing of this change. It's possible that the issue lies with the car's aerodynamics or its rear end, though this could also suggest that his teammate may face similar challenges. Nevertheless, Hamilton's comments clearly indicate that the problem is specific to his car. Hamilton further elaborated, saying, "We found something on the car that's been underperforming the last three races. I'm really hoping that when that's fixed, I'll start getting better results. I'm losing just over a tenth of a lap with this issue. I'm hoping in the next race it's fixed." The issue Hamilton describes could range from minor setup tweaks to a more significant mechanical flaw, but it seems he's suggesting that a setup divergence is to blame. This is the only logical explanation for why both cars would perform differently, even though they share the same components. Hamilton's approach to his car setup has been influenced by his extensive experience, which contrasts with his teammates' reliance on Ferrari's guidance. When discussing the importance of the car setup, Hamilton said, "Outside of the garage, I think most people completely underestimate what we actually do." Hamilton continued, "When we're talking about setup and the changes we're making, everything from the aerodynamics through to corner balance, mechanical floor balance, and all the different elements we try to finesse throughout the weekend, it's a lot of work. Despite this, the difference in performance between the two cars isn't as huge as you might expect." However, the fact that Hamilton still feels his car's parts are underperforming suggests that he's not entirely comfortable with the approach his side of the garage has taken, compared to his teammates' method. One thing Hamilton has made clear is the need for a better understanding of the car's setup, especially as the season progresses. In China, he admitted that he would grow more comfortable with certain setups as the year goes on, but his recent admission that a part of his car isn't performing as well as his teammates raises concerns that can't be ignored. This could be a pivotal moment for Hamilton and his team as they look for solutions. Meanwhile, Ferrari is focused on proving Hamilton wrong, especially after his comments. According to Italian media, Ferrari is now taking a different approach with both of their drivers. After Hamilton's latest remarks, Ferrari has made it clear that they expect him to go his own way with the car's setup and won't be sharing crucial information regarding the car's performance with him. Ferrari claims they're paying close attention to Hamilton's feedback about the SF25, but they're also aware that bringing in a seven-time world champion is a high-risk, high-reward move. Hamilton, on the other hand, is focused on his own driving style, prioritizing what works best for him over the team's guidance. This tension isn't new. Remember the angry message Hamilton sent to the team last year in Las Vegas, where he made it clear that his driving style would come first from then on. His recent comments may have further stirred the pot, especially with the upcoming Bahrain Grand Prix. The pressure is mounting, and Hamilton's stance could very well ignite even more friction within the team.